Hi everyone, welcome. I'd like to invite you to take the QUERER challenge. How well do you know the verb querer in Spanish in the present tense? So this is related to our previous lesson. If you haven't seen it already, if you don't know how to use and conjugate the verb querer in the present tense, have a look at that lesson. So if you're ready to test yourself to see how well you know the verb querer, then let's continue. Remember, querer is a stem-changing verb, which means when you remove the ER, you're left with the stem. So this is our stem here. And the stem will change. This is why we call it a stem-changing verb. In some of the forms, it will just be the E. In other forms, it will be the IE. And learning that is really just a matter of memorization through practice. Native speakers just learn through practice, so you can do the same. So what we're going to do in this lesson is practice. Just to remind you, these are the forms of querer in the present tense in Spanish. Again, this is something that you just have to have memorized through practice, so let's practice. Okay, this is the type of activity that we normally do in the classroom. So you're given some information and you have to create a complete sentence with this. And you also have to use your imagination. This is just the good old-fashioned way of using your imagination. Don't forget to use your imagination in this day and age where so much is just provided for you. You don't have to imagine anything, but using your imagination is really great. It's really important. So here's the situation. You're in a restaurant and you want to tell someone, or maybe tell the server, I want the salad. So how do you do that in Spanish? You're given your subject pronoun here. You're given the infinitive querer and la ensalada, which is salad. So put it together. You may want to pause for a minute. You may want to write it down on a sheet of paper or on your device. If you have another device, write it down and then check to see if you got it right. So how do you say, I want the salad? And the answer is, yo quiero la ensalada. Yo quiero la ensalada. Yo quiero la ensalada. The stress on ensalada is on the la. Yo quiero la ensalada. The stress on quiero is on the que. Quiero. Yo quiero la ensalada. Okay, so if you're taking a Spanish course, writing, formal writing is important, so don't forget punctuation, capitalization. Another thing about this sentence is in Spanish, normally, if the subject is understood, we don't need to use the subject pronoun. The subject pronouns are optional, so I could get rid of it and I can just simply say, quiero la ensalada. Quiero la ensalada. And most native speakers will not use the subject pronoun yo if it's understood. So in this case, simply quiero. Quiero la ensalada. Okay, did you get that one right? I hope you did. Okay, let's go on to another one. Maybe your friend or family member, somebody that you're sitting with at the restaurant, wants to ask you the question, do you want the salad? Do you want the salad? How would you say that in Spanish? Do you want the salad? Okay, so maybe pause the video and write it down if you need more time, but the answer is, ¿Quieres la ensalada? ¿Quieres la ensalada? ¿Quieres la ensalada? Notice the question mark in Spanish consists of the two symbols, the one at the beginning and the one at the end. Capitalization, of course. Notice that the IE is here, so the stem has changed. It's quieres. Just like in the previous one, quiero, there was a stem change, so quieres la ensalada. Notice also I didn't use the tú because it's not necessary. You could say quieres tú la ensalada. You would only use the tú if you were trying to emphasize the you for some reason. So, do you want the salad? ¿Quieres la ensalada? Okay, let's go on to our next one. I want to say she wants the salad. She wants the salad. Okay, you have to convert the infinitive to the right form. And ella, with ella, there is a stem change. So, the answer is, ella quiere la ensalada. Ella quiere la ensalada. Ella quiere la ensalada. She wants the salad. Okay, on to our next one. So we see that there's chicken on the menu, pollo, and you want to say, we want the chicken. We want the chicken. We want the chicken. Pause the video if you need a little more time, write it down, and then check to see if you got it right. So here's the answer. Queremos el pollo. Queremos el pollo. Notice that there is no stem change here. Queremos. And notice I didn't use the nosotros because it's not necessary. Queremos el pollo. Queremos el pollo. We want the chicken. Queremos el pollo. The stress is here. Re. Queremos. It's on the R-E. Queremos. Queremos el pollo. On pollo, the stress on the word is on the po. Pollo. Pollo. And the pronunciation, some Spanish speakers might say pollo, might pronounce it pollo. Queremos el pollo, but pollo. Queremos el pollo. Okay, next one. They want the chicken. How would you say they want the chicken? Notice the they is all females. Ellas. They want the chicken. The answer is ellas quieren el pollo. Ellas quieren el pollo. Ellas quieren el pollo. Notice the stem change is here. Quieren. Stress is on the que. Quieren. Quieren. Ellas quieren el pollo. They want the chicken. And notice that I did include the subject pronoun because you can also, for the form quieren, you can also have ellos, but you could also have ustedes, you. So in the case where it's ambiguous, for example, if I just said quieren el pollo without any other context, you don't know if that means they want the chicken or you, if I'm addressing a group, quieren can mean you want the chicken. So it's ambiguous. In the case where it's ambiguous, you more than likely will hear or see the subject pronoun. So again, they want the chicken, quieren el pollo, quieren el pollo. Ellas quieren el pollo. Now let's say I'm the waiter, waitress. I want to ask you, do you want the chicken? I could ask the question, do you want the chicken? Then the question would be, ¿quiere usted el pollo? ¿Quiere usted el pollo? ¿Quiere usted el pollo? Notice the stem change, quiere. And notice also the subject pronoun is after the verb. For statements, the order is subject pronoun and verb, like you want would be usted quiere. But if I want to ask the question, do you want, in Spanish, you have to reverse the order. So do you want would be quiere usted. Quiere usted. Do you want the chicken? Quiere usted el pollo. Quiere usted el pollo? Do you want the chicken? Okay, well that's it for this lesson. If you didn't get all of those right, then go back and replay the video and keep practicing. Go back first and review the forms, and then try the video again and see if you can get it all right. When you get 100%, then you're at the point where you're mastering the verb querer, and that should be exciting because once you've learned the verb, then there's so many things that you can begin saying in Spanish. So keep practicing. You can do it. It just takes time and practice. That's it. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for watching.